Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm News Jester. My name is Junior. So maybe if you've seen some of my videos, you saw that I just purchased the Lewin Resources 5 feet tall Metroplex. And maybe if you stayed long enough, you saw that that was the second product that was produced by Lewin Resources. The first one was a 28 inch. I think this is 28 inch. Let's see. This Optimus Prime MP10, yes, this is about 28, 29 inches tall. MP10 blown up by Lewin Resources, produced maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember. I was one of the first pre-orders on it. I took a chance because at that time I believe it was like $200 or $300 for some with die cast. Let me show you. This is a smokestack. That's all die cast. This is a heavy piece, probably around 20-25 pounds. And anyway, in that video you probably saw that after 3 or 4 years of owning this piece and never having an issue with it, as I was moving it like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, the ankle broke off. And I'll tell you why it broke off. I know it's kind of apart right now. This was a last minute thing that I thought that I was gonna go ahead and show you guys. So the way this thing is constructed is it goes on like this, the feet. Gotta make sure you guys are seeing this. Okay, goes on like this, and then the foot over here. Now the problem is this part snapped off. This is already part of the repair that I'm doing. So this entire thing, which holds the ankle, which does the pivot, you guys seeing that? Yeah. So it allows this foot to pivot to the side, but basically the entire weight of this item is resting on this one piece of connection that's on those two legs. That's the only contact point that's holding this whole thing together. So obviously with a lot of weight and all that stuff and movement, because my floor is carpeted and this thing is on the carpet, that gets a lot of tension and it snapped off. Luckily, because of the way it's constructed, this piece over here is still inside the item. Now let me talk to you how this thing comes apart. I'm just gonna pull this apart right now. It's just gonna be easier for you guys to see it this way. So pretend this is the whole foot or the whole leg over here. You're gonna remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that's holding this leg together. The problem is you're only gonna have access to 1, 2, 3, and 4. These two are hidden behind this wheel. You're not gonna be able to get access on it. Now here's the thing. This leg goes on like so. This leg goes on like so. This is the positioning of this leg. But they're basically mirror images of the other, which means that all these screw holes on this side is actually on this side. Are you guys getting that? They're basically, this part is the exact same part as this one. Why is that important? Because while this one gives you access to all these screw holes, right, this one doesn't. On this side, it's not here. It's all on this side, which is basically blocked by this wheel, which means you can't get access to these two over here. How do you remove it? Because this is actually just on a clip. You guys see that? I kind of stressed the clip, but I was desperate. I couldn't access it without pulling this out. So I knew it was just a connected piece. I knew it wasn't screwed on. I was just trying to pull maybe this wheel off, would have given me access to these two over here, but this one would have lost too. But I just kept on. It's like I was desperate. I pulled on it, and luckily it's just on these 4 tabs. And even if I lost this, I wouldn't mind, because I could, I could probably still kind of work something out. But I needed access to this one. So this just pulls off, just pull by force. It's up to you if you guys want to do it. It might break off some tabs. Mine didn't. It just stressed it, but it still can use it. That gave me access to this part, which basically allowed me to move this and pull this apart. Now, this is the function that you need to In the other, in the original, this would have popped off. This is not. This is encased within this whole thing. The MP10 original and the 12-inch version, this would have popped off. But in the way they did it is it's enclosed in this whole project over here. And the only thing that popped off is this one. And that all this thing does is just it pushes it in. That's all. So this part is intact. Let me include a clip, and it's going to be in an awkward position. But unfortunately, like I said, this is just an afterthought to show you guys of in the process of me pulling this apart, all right? And then after that clip, I'm also going to include a clip of me pulling this apart so you kind of know what to expect in this one. Basically, the only thing you're going to expect is there's going to be a resistance on the spring because of this. There's going to be a resistance on the spring because of this part here. So I don't even know if that shows it, but at least that shows you what to expect. Now, here's the clips. Okay, now that I've shown you the clip, I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with the solution that I have. I'm gonna bring this down a little bit more. I'll be right back. All right, so this is the piece that basically broke off. So originally, this cylinder over here was connected to that one. And then basically this screw is held on to go on to the back of this one, okay, with the spring like that. And then this one was in here, okay. So basically the tension of the spring basically sandwiches this gear, and that's basically the one causing the rotation. And this spring, by the way, is very, very strong. It has to be because of the weight of the product, but at the same time, the weight of the product plus the strength of the spring is just adding a lot of tension onto this small plastic. Imagine that this small plastic, the circumference of this plastic connected to this one was all that's holding all of that weight, all of that pressure in, and it just gave. I think that was the mistake on this part is I don't think you really need that big of a teeth over here. They could have made this stronger, but at the same time, I don't know, it's just gonna be hard to do. So I was lucky. I wasn't really concerned because I saw how it broke, and in my mind I knew it was fixable. I don't know how it was. I haven't seen it, but now that I've opened it, I knew for a fact that it's fixable. So what did I do? The first thing that I did was this. By the way, was not hollow. That was solid piece, right? Basically, this whole thing, this whole plastic is solid. There's no hollowness in that one. So what I did was I grabbed my handheld drill bit, and I basically drilled all the way through in this one. Now, I don't know what the bit size of this one is. You have to be careful and everything. There's actually a perfect circumference over here so that the screw will bite into that one. And you could be done by that point. Like this actually screws into that one, and it would hold. And you can be done by that point. And the only thing that's holding the entire weight of this unit will be the thickness of this plastic, and you could be happy with that. I'm not. I could have finished that one, but I want to end this and just be done with it, right? So what I'm going to do, I went to Home Depot and I tried to measure it out. The closest that I was able to get is a 632 screw for a 1-inch flathead Phillips. That includes the whatever you call this, the bolt, no, the nut. And then I grabbed some washers. Why did I grab some washers? The problem is so we're gonna need at least one screw, one bolt, and a few washers. It's not just, I could have finished it with just one washer, but I'm not. I'm gonna use the washer for a bunch of stuff. So here's the thing, right? The reason why you need a washer is because the head on a screw is not going to be enough to hold the spring in. Not going to be. You need a washer to make sure that when you put this screw in, see, now it's going to hold the spring in. So here's what we're going to do. My glasses. I need to glue the this to the side over here because I need it I'm just using Gorilla Glue with the thicker, with the applicator. I'm gonna let that dry because okay, so it's kind of dried enough that it's basically, it doesn't need to be like super strong because like I said, it's actually this screw that's going to be holding that in. I just needed to make sure it's secure enough so that when I'm starting to screw this in, it's not going to move, because I won't have access to that small spot once I put it together. And I'll show you what I mean by now. And this is the reason why those two clips that I inserted on this video, I did that only for private use, because I wanted to make sure that when I am starting to reassemble this, you can kind of figure it out, but it's much better to see it visually to make sure. So I know for a fact that when I took it apart, this was over here, and the positioning of everything was basically something similar to that. So I compared that. That's the way it should be. So that's good. And basically what it's supposed to be doing is this is going to be the hard part to do, because when I insert this whole thing, this whole unit has to be going in like so. But as you can see, that spring tension is a lot. It's really, really strong, but it goes in like that, right? So I should be able to put this in now. I'll be able to pull that off. So here is the tricky part. This goes into that. Probably put this in here, and this goes into this spot over here. Okay, that's kind of the way I want it. The tricky part is making sure that's gonna go in there, and just start to try to squeeze this whole thing together. See, you can see I don't no longer have access to that screw, at least not a lot. So that's the reason. That's the only reason why I glued that. So now I should be able to carefully unscrew this. So now you can see all of that is now going to be providing a lot of strength to that one. I just had to be careful removing this because I want to make sure I don't unseat that screw. Now we're ready to assemble this. So now we're going to have to put this back in again. I'm gonna leave a little bit of a play in here, right? Let me eat a little bit more. Okay. All right, now let's do this. So put the spring in. Put this piece in. Oh, it's already through. See? That's already through the you guys see that? I don't want it to puncture in too much over here, so there's enough clearance. This is really very strong. This oops. Is that supposed to do that? Yeah. See. So now it's not as strong as it was before, and I'm fine with that. I could make this I could make the ratchet stronger again if I want to, but I think that's good enough for that. So let's go ahead, and that's it. That's basically it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and assemble it now. And all it is, oh, look at that. This whole thing again is being held by this here and that. Jeez, that's it. Look at that. That's the only thing holding it in. And the only reason I'm pointing this out is now it's like it does kind of make me wonder what decisions they made for the Metroplex 5 foot high. This is like 25 pounds, but the Metroplex is freaking 80 pounds, man. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Okay, I think this is gonna work now, so I just gotta put it into play. That's all. Shove that whole thing in. Test this around. By the way, guys, I forgot to mention this screw you also don't have access to until you remove the smokestack. All you gotta do is unpin it. I don't remember where I put the pin though. Here's the pin. And I gotta make sure I do this correctly. Goes something like this. And the pin part is on the inside. I remember that much. All right, that's it for the smokestacks. Smokestacks are done. All right, did I do that correctly? Put this out like so. supposed to go over the wheel like that. Yes, and then and this one like this. So you notice now this is tight, but this is kind of loose. I don't really mind that. I wish it would have been tighter, but I'm really quite surprised the way this thing is constructed. Because the stability is all depends on the forward movement anyway, so that's stable enough. And as you can see, let's see. So it's got that. Now I'm just putting the wheel back on, and it should not be too much of a hassle. Just basically just plug it into the corresponding one over here and just push it in. That's it. So there it is, guys. That's the repair or my repair for the Lewin Resources Optimus Prime 28 inches. This is really, really heavy, as you can see. Not a problem anymore. It's just standing just fine. And I feel my answer is much more secure in terms of securing that part. I don't know about that whole thing where it's just being held by that secondary thing that I pointed at. Yeah, that part, I'm not entirely sure how strong that is. I can't believe that's the only thing holding this whole thing again together. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you guys found it enjoyable and everything like that. So I'll see you in the next review, next toy talk, next whatever video I make. Have a nice day. Bye.